Let's first explain the category that Gitcoin fits into. Do you guys consider yourself in the category of public goods funding? What is public goods funding to you? Can you give us some definitions and sort of a high level overview?
Yeah, definitely. So Gitcoin, I think one of the things we're probably best known for is this meme of public goods and build and fund public goods. And I think, if you look at the textbook definition of public goods, generally what people are describing are things that are non-excludable and non-rivalrous, meaning like no one's person's use of that thing can prevent you from using it or like take that away from you. So like the classic examples for things like that are air or national defense or like public parks. Like someone using those things doesn't prevent you from using those things either. Similarly, I think, open source software falls into that pretty neatly as well. Like someone else deciding to fork and use your code doesn't prevent another person from doing the same and building on top of that. So I think what's been really interesting as Gitcoin's been evolving is like, we're very much believers in public goods and we want public goods to keep evolving. But I think as we've been growing and interacting with more communities, there are these like really valuable things that communities may want to put money towards that aren't technically like public goods. We were talking about like community-owned restaurants before. Like restaurants are great for the neighborhood. They bring foot traffic. They bring kind of cachet to a neighborhood. If a community owned that, it isn't technically like non-excludable, non-rivalrous. There's only so many seats in the restaurant. You're going to make money from those things. But that doesn't mean that it's not this idea of something that's super valuable for like a given community and what they can do. Like it might raise property value. And maybe that aspect of it is like the problem. I don't know actually once we get in there. But so I think what's been really interesting is like we've been moving into like public goods is really at our core. But I think there's like this second order that we're calling shared needs. I think is also like super powerful and that we're building towards. So we would definitely consider ourselves both a public goods and a shared needs kind of organization. But we can get into this a little bit more when we talk about like what we're building and how we're organized. But I think one of the things that was like our initial in for this was this idea that like public good funding today, it's been existing in like local communities for a long time. If you look at, taxes or fundraisers or communities, governments, like all of that is like, how do we take these resources that we've acquired and like funnel them back into public goods funding, like education, or things like that. And there are a number of challenges with that. I think one of the classic kind of challenges is the idea of like a free rider problem, where like one person may be able to consume more of a public good than they may actually need or deserve or is equal or fair. So we think there are these fundamental tools, one of which is quadratic funding, which I think we're going to get into later, that can start to like attack these problems in different ways. So make it a little bit more, I think, equal in terms of your access to a public good. I think also giving communities more say in sort of like what are their public goods.